Good morning, everyone. Today we will talk about something that we usually forget. How we feel architecture. It's not only how we see it.
Exactly. The Finnish architect Giovanni Pallasmaa said, modern architecture has become the architecture of the age. But real architecture is for all our senses. The eyes, ears, skin, noise, even our balance.
So when we walk into a building, it's not just what we look at, but how we feel it.
Yes, Ayşe, the Danish architect Sten Einar Rasmussen wrote in Experiencing Architecture. To understand architecture, we must experience it. You cannot understand a building only by drawings or photos. You must walk inside it, hear it, touch it.
Architecture is not only about design, but about human experience.
Exactly, Sude. It's a relationship between your body and the space. When you move through a building, you make a kind of conservation with it through sound, light, and movement.
We are so sorry that we are late. The bus didn't came on time, so we walked all the way up here. May we come in?
Just in time. We were talking about being present in architecture. And here you are, but just a bit late. But that's also an experience, right?
You guys are 15 minutes late. We can't let you in. Since you missed the start, for you to keep up with the topic, we are giving you an assignment. You will visit a historical building nearby, maybe Odunpazarı houses or an old mosque, or even the Kurşunlu complex. Spend some time there. Don't just look, listen, touch, smell, or feel.
Do you mean we will make a video about it?
Yes, but it's just a short video. Show us how you experience the building. How does the light move on the walls? What sounds can you hear? Wind, footstep, water. What texture can you touch? Stone, wood, metal?
And we talk about what we feel.
Exactly. Pallasmaa says the door handle is the handshake of the building. So when you open a heavy wooden door or a metal gate, think about how it feels in your hand: strong, cold, smooth, rough. That moment already tells a story.
Okay, we will do it. That sounds great.
See you guys. Rasmussen said architecture speaks to the eye, ear, and the heart.
When you think about a place you love, what do you remember first?
For me, it's the sound. When I enter a mosque or a big hall, I always hear soft echo. It makes me feel small but peaceful.
That's a very good example, Zeynep. Rasmussen said that sound shapes a space. A cathedral or a bathhouse feels different, not only because of its looks, but because of how it sounds. Do you have any idea, Ayşe?
Oh, sorry. I always notice smells. Old buildings smell of dust and wood. Sometimes it feels like you can smell history.
Excellent, Ayşe. Pallasmaa believed that smell is the strongest sense for memory. You can forget what a place looks like, but not what it smells like. And Derya?
I think light is the most beautiful part of a building. The same room looks completely different in the morning and at sunset.
For me, it's about touch. When I touch cold marble, I feel the strength. When I touch warm wood, it feels alive, like it's breathing.
Very good, Ece. Pallasmaa said the body is the main instrument of architecture. Our hands remember the textures, the smoothness of glass, the roughness of stone. He called this the memory of skin.
And Rasmussen called light the poetry of architecture. He said light changes the character of space. Think of an old stone corridor. In daylight, it feels alive, but at night, it becomes mysterious. Do you want to say something, Ayşe?
Sorry, Sometimes when I walk into an old building, I feel calm, even if I don't know why. Is that also part of the experience?
Absolutely, Ayşe. That's what Rasmussen means by atmosphere. A space can feel peaceful, heavy, or exciting, not because of its size, because of how it affects our sense together. Yes, Ceylin, you can talk.
I'm sorry to interrupt. May I be excused? I'm feeling a bit dizzy.
If you don't feel well, of course you can leave the class. But first, we need to make sure you understand the topic. Can you tell us what you learned today?
In today's class, we talk about Palazzo and Rasmussen. What we should learn from this lesson is that architecture is not only about what we see, it's about what we feel, touch, hear, and even smell. But I can smile right now because my nose is running.
Nice, Ceylin. You are right about what you said. I hope you will get well soon. Any question?
Teacher,
Yes, Cem.
buildings change with time. They get all dirty or cracked. Is that also part of architecture?
Yes, Cem. Paladma says that time is visible on surfaces. Old walls show the life of building. When a stone step becomes smooth, it tells us about all the feet that walked there.
Yes, Ceylin.
The marks of time make a building more real or not diminished.
Exactly. Rasmussen said time is the fourth dimension of architecture. It gives emotion to a building. New materials are perfect, but old materials are full of stories.
So a building is like a person. It grows older, it changes, and it keeps memories.
Beautifully said, Ayşe. Every building has a soul. We can feel it if we listen with our senses.
Before you go, I want all you try something. When you walk home today, use your five senses. Listen sound on your shoes on the pavement, feel the wind on your face, notice how your light hits the building, smell the trees or the air after rain. That's architecture, not only walls and roofs, but the space around you, and that's architecture.
Yes, Palasma said architecture is the art of reconciliation between ourselves and the world. When we use our senses, we connected to life itself.
I think from now on, I'll look at buildings differently, not only with my eyes, but with my whole body.
That's the moment when you start becoming an architect. Tomorrow you will see your friends' video and we will talk about what they discovered. Today that's all, you can go.
Even this cold stone reflects history vividly.
The door handle is the handshake of the buildings. And the smell of the woods, how I love it. than just seeing.
So, architecture starts right here.
By experiencing.
Steen Eiler Rasmussen was a Danish architect, city planner and writer. He is known for seeing architecture not only as a technical job, but as an experience that people can feel. His most famous work is Experiencing Architecture. Juhani Pallasmaa is a Finnish architect, writer and teacher. He is known for his work about the importance of the senses, memory and human experience in architecture. His most famous book is The Eyes of the Skin, Architecture and the Senses. The books Experiencing Architecture by Steen Eiler Rasmussen and The Eyes of the Skin, Architecture and the Senses by Juhani Pallasmaa are two important works in architectural theory that explore how we experience buildings beyond sight. Both authors share the belief that architecture is not only something we look at, it is something we live, touch, hear and feel with our entire body. Yet, even if they agree on this general idea, their approaches differ deeply, reflecting the intellectual and cultural moments in which they wrote.
Rasmussen's book belongs to the optimistic modernist period of the mid-20th century. Modern architecture at that time was about functionality, clarity, and the idea that good design could improve everyday life. Rasmussen's writing follows this spirit. He treats architecture as a living art that organizes human activities in space. For him, good architecture is not about decoration or style. It is about how spaces work and how they make people feel comfortable and aware of their surroundings. He uses simple, concrete examples like the feeling of walking on different materials or the experience of light entering a room to teach readers how to read architecture as if it were a language. His goal is to make architectural experience understandable to ordinary people, not only to professionals. Pallasmaa, writing nearly 4 decades later, looks at architecture from a different philosophical horizon. The 1990s were a time when digital tools were transforming architectural practice and when postmodern and phenomenological thinking were challenging modernist ideals. Influenced by philosophers like Maurice Merleau-Ponty, Pallasmaa argues that architecture has lost its connection to the human body and senses. In The Eyes of the Skin, he just suggests that modern culture, dominated by screens, images, and visual speed, has made architecture too focused on sights and visual appearance. As a result, our sense of touch, smell, hearing, and even our sense of balance have been neglected. Pallasmaa sees architecture as a field that should heal this separation. Real architecture, he says, should engage all our senses and help us feel whole, physically, emotionally, and spiritually.
While Rasmussen's tone is pedagogical and practical, Pallasmaa's is poetic and critical. Rasmussen wants to train perception, Pallasmaa wants to awaken sensitivity. Rasmussen speaks to the eye that observes, Pallasmaa speaks to the body that devours. Yet their talks connect at a deep level. For example, Rasmussen describes how children learn about the world by touching objects, feeling air weight, texture, and temperature. Pallasmaa extends this idea. He argues that touch is not only a physical sense, but also the basis of our spatial understanding. Even sight, he says, is a kind of distant touch. Our eyes scarce the surfaces of the world. Their attitudes toward technology also reveal their historical differences. Rasmussen, writing in a time when architecture still depended on hand driving and manual construction, rarely questions technology. For him, it is simply a tool to improve life. Pallasmaa, however, is critical of digital design processes that separate the designer from the tactile reality of materials. When architects design only through screens, He warns they lose the bodily contact that once guided creative intuition. This loss is not merely technical, it affects how humans relate to space itself. Architecture risks becoming an image instead of an experience.
The question of vision is another crucial contrast. Rasmussen explores vision through compositional elements, rhythm, color, proportion, light, and shadow. He explains how buildings communicate visually, almost like sentences made of forms. Plasma, by contrast, goes beyond visual composition and investigates how we see. He distinguishes between focused analytical vision and peripheral vision, which gives us a sense of atmosphere and belonging. In his view, modern cities and glass faces overstimulate the eye but weaken peripheral awareness. This creation, alienation, people see everything but feel detached from space. Ultimately, Rasmussen and Pallasmaa represent two stages of a continuous inquiry into sensory architecture. Rasmussen introduces us to the basic language of architectural experience, how to feel space, light, and material in everyday life. Pallasmaa deepens this lesson by giving it a philosophical and existential meaning. He reminds us that architecture is not just an arrangement of forms, but an extension of our body and memory. Together, they teach that architecture is a sensory art, not made only for the eyes, but for the entire human being. Rasmussen helped us understand how architecture communicates. Pallasmaa helps us remember why it matters. Between them, we see a journey from the modern belief in functional order to a more reflective understanding of embodiment and represents. In this way, both others show that architecture's true power lies not in what we see, but in what we feel when we inhabit space.